its same vigor and vitality to the State House of Austin to give us local control. I love the opportunity to see those gentlemen fight on our behalf. Chris, I think you've done a great job. As I mentioned before, I just disagree with a lot of the principles. I'm not a smart lawyer. I'm not a lawyer like my colleague to my right and my left. I'm just a poor sugar cane farmer from southern Louisiana. We'll be closer to crawfish and water. But my questions are regarding timeline. On Thursday at 9:30, we received a high-level informational piece from the mayor. And then William Paul sent us some information on Friday. Then on Monday, I received this information from Alvin White, the president of the International Association of Firefighters, Local 341, explaining a strong disagreement between the day-to-day firefighters and the pension board. And then on Monday at 6:15, there's an update that was just passed around, update on discussions with the HFRRF from Alvin White again. And then on Tuesday, there's another email that says, from Mr. White, we're good with the revised agreement. So negotiations have been ongoing, and we still have no idea what the heck is going on. I mean, you insulted us on Thursday and Friday, and you continually do this. So I think I'm a pretty darn smart guy. I'd love to have an opportunity to sit down like you and I had the opportunity on Monday to debate issues back and forth. I think Councilmember Costello and everyone around this table has some strong opinions, whether they're in favor of it or against. But my question is related to the agreement that was presented on Friday that was stated in here. The HFRRF board will consider this agreement at their meeting this morning, Friday, March 6th. This board may elect to modify certain terms at the meeting this morning, which would require agreement and reauthorization by the mayor. And as I mentioned, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm looking at the agreement. And in number 2, section 2, it talks about the mustering out pay, which is a use of sick leave or unused leave time to define now and to use into the DROP, the Deferred Retirement Program. And then in section 5, it states that through December 31st, 2015, the city agrees to oppose each and every relevant forum and to each and every official any bill or form to propose legislation in the Texas legislature, other than is addressed in this agreement I hold in my hands, not the one that was negotiated Monday or renegotiated Tuesday. This agreement in my hand that was signed, I'm assuming, by all parties on Friday, March 6th. So was number 2, the mustering out, negotiated and renegotiated? Yes or no?
I'll give you a yes or no momentarily. It was not negotiated.
You're on my time, Chris.
It was not negotiated by the city, and I think it's important to complete that statement. The section that you were just referring to, except for such changes that are agreed to by HRIF and a written communication by the HRIF board to the mayor of the city.
So the answer to my question is yes, it was renegotiated Monday and Tuesday, and now the firefighters union is happy with it.
That provision was not, this provision was not renegotiated.
So number 2 has not been changed,
there is not another form of this agreement.
Okay.
This agreement here. The discussion was between HRIF and Local 341 over the construction or translation of this agreement into the form of a statute.
So what happened with the mustering out, question number 1, that everybody's kumbaya now, because there were some ill feelings on Mondays going back and forth between the union and the retirement fund. Number 1, let me finish, Mayor. And number 2, whenever you do a lump sum that is now going to be pre-tax and you put it into a drop, there is tax ramifications of that proviso. What is the tax ramifications of moving from a lump sum payment for the mustering out into a deferred retirement? Because I'm assuming that that causes more of an outstanding obligation on our books as far as debt is concerned. So what we're talking about here is saving $25 million, but we're allowing them a lump sum payment to be dropped into the DROP program, which is going to cause a longer term debt liability. So what is fact and what is fiction?
Councilmember, that is in fact a question rather than a statement. Mr. Dow can address the time.
Mr. Dow isn't here, Mayor.
Councilmember, he has stood up at that microphone 3 times.
Well, he walked out the door 5 minutes ago. Mr. Dow, what are the tax ramifications? What are the long-term effects on the debt structure of the city moving from the lump sum payment that is now on the books today to a deferred retirement option account? Because I'm assuming that we're not going to pay off that over an extended period of time, and that causes more of outstanding debt.
The estimates we got from both our actuaries and both the HRF actuaries were that it was immaterial.
Define immaterial.
It's
$25 million on $2 billion is immaterial in my opinion.
It was significantly less than that. They couldn't give us an exact
Give me a
figure.
number. Throw something out. Give me a bone.
No, immaterial is what they
Immaterial. If I went to my stockholders and told them what I'm doing is immaterial, they'll fire me tomorrow. What is immaterial? Give me a number. What assumptions were placed?
Council members, I'd be happy to allow you to communicate directly with the actuaries who made this.
No, we did this, and we're doing this in a vacuum, and now I'm asking some questions trying to figure out $25 million of savings, but what are we giving up in additional deferred payment over the next 30 years? When you dump money from a unused vacation pay into a drop account, you defer your liability again and again. And
No,
you continually do
sir,
this.
that is incorrect. We have to pay the money in a lump sum as they leave. Instead of paying a check to
It
that
goes into drop.
firefighters, it goes into drop. So
Correct.
we are not deferring the entire liability. The payment is made when the payment is made. It's whether it goes to them as an individual or it goes into their drop.
So if we're not deferring it, but
The only
we're dumping it
liability-
into a deferred retirement option account, is there a tax? Is there a liability set?
There's
There is a
savings
tax savings. The
for
liability is
1.45%. There's
Okay, we are two
1.45% offset for payroll tax. We do not pay payroll tax at that point in time.
What is the interest?
that is the only liability that is whether there is an accrued interest before that firefighter then pulls that money out of the drop account. And there are estimates, but I
But
will
no one
make
can
sure
give
that
me
you
a